Annectens, connecting professionals.
And all for new students, not here but in other countries also, who are going to have this videos. So I'm working on a cheat sheet, like Devakar yesterday asked about tenant. So that tricked me because we don't have any cheat sheet for entire Intune. So what I did, I have prepared a cheat sheet, okay, and that cheat sheet is going to talk about every possible thing that you can come across, within Tune, and you should be knowing it, right? So just to fix that problem, we did try to uh, create a cheat sheet which help you, uh, going forward, looking at if you are stuck with something, what is configuration management, or what is called something like that. So what is Windows enrollment, what is called group assignment, what is application management, everything. So what we tried to simplify things for you, right? So I'll quickly share my screen so you just can have a look on it. uh, 1 second. Okay, and please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a cheat sheet which will talk about 17 core models. So we have covered all sort of glossaries that we talked about yesterday. What is tenant, right? So what is tenant? Then what is entra? We'll talk about authorities. Okay. And what is difference in these two philosophies, MDM and MM? Then what are the enrollment types? Okay. How many enrollment types do we support? Then what is called user driven, what is called self deploying, all this. I mean, though I'm going to explain everything in class, but this particular cheat sheet uh, this particular cheat sheet is going to cover all different aspects. If you are missing out what is called filter, right? So the filter is also added in the cheat sheet. So once I cover the entire console overview, then this cheat sheet will be part of that video, right? I mean, all the videos which we're going to cover now from yesterday till today, and then go Monday onwards. So we are going to have all these cheat sheets available. You can refer it to. You can understand what is called EPM, what does it do. So everything is here, and also at the end just try to cover all glossaries that we have. That is what is called BYOD, right? So BYOD stands for bring your own device. Okay, what is called conditional access. Okay, so each and everything we have tried to simplify and make this in cheat sheet, so you can simply refer in one wording. If you're still having some confusion, if you're still having missing pieces, you want to connect with us, you can definitely reach or raise your hands in class, and you can ask your queries. But this is something that we just try to simplify. Okay, so let's come back our blade.
Jago,
Mhm.
one minute. What is the location of this cheat sheet?
Okay, so this video, you have access to this Annectens, right? Website.
Yes.
Annectens.odu. So in that, when you go to courses, right? And when you go to dedicated course, here you will see that video, right? That video will be coming. In that video, for example, if I'm playing this one, so in that
Annectens.
video, you will have all set of here. All the supported files, links, everything, resources especially, all will be added here. So this sheet will be part of going forward, like 7 8 in every video. I'll just add it, so you just go and download and have it. Okay.
Okay, so individual cheat sheet we need to download. There is no, I mean, there is no single file, right?
It's a single file. What I'm trying to make it, in each video I'm adding the same file. Wherever you want, you can go and check it. Like, for example, if you're referring to video 8, you did not see video 7, so still that in video you can download this resource. Okay, because we all are covering, it's part of overview console
Okay,
overview.
so so this is there, but it points to the same cheat sheet in
Same,
every video.
yes. So in every video we have different. For example, now we're talking about Windows, right? So in Windows we're talking about Windows 365. So you might see the reference for this one, a link, what is called script and remediation and all this. But dedicatedly there is a cheat sheet also available, which will help you going all sort of jargons which is there in tenant, in this Intune, like we talked about yesterday, tenant, right? So that is what it is covered. So I'm just going to add it later, the videos, right?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Windows Blade yesterday. So go to devices. From here we did go to window, and here in window we already talked about these devices. These are the Windows devices, and which we have versions and all. Column is something that we already talked about. We can add as per our requirement, we can have this added, right? And then you can leverage it. Now we talked about yesterday, this is something Windows cloud PC. If you have a cloud PC in your environment, you can set it up, and then that you can, it will show you all the details about that. Now this was the Blade, I think we discussed yesterday. We talked about enrollment, we talked about automatic enrollment, where we are setting up MDM authority, right? And we are setting up these URLs open in our as a network point of view. We are opening these ports and URLs, whitelisting, so that our users who are trying to do it in the network, or they're outside also, if they have it whitelisted, certainly they can their devices can discovered in Intune, and it will be added. So we have already discussed all this. Intune connector we talked yesterday when we are doing offline domain join. So this was one of the connector which we are currently doing practical in 9 a.m. batch morning. So this is showing as status as an error. Why? Because this gateway server is not functional right now, it's shut off. So this is Windows and enrollments, right? So enrollment is the Blade where you're going to set all the prereq, okay, before you start doing this in production. So all this we have covered so far. And corporate device identifier is something when you are doing a bulk upload, right? If you have a number of devices, right, and what is the serial number of those devices, or the manufacturer model number, if you know the IMEI number. So IMEI is something for mobile devices. You can simply go to identifiers and import it here. If you have any doubt, you can simply click on this I button. You can see this will give you identifying what exactly that setting is, right? If you're not sure about it, you can simply click on it and you can have it. So in a one shot, it will tell you like what to do with this particular setting, what does it stand for, and what things you can do. So it says like if you are having any CSV file which you're trying to import, then that should be properly formatted. That should be having a serial number which talks about the identifier details should be in 128 character limit, right? And there should be tuple, and in tuple you should have manufacturer, model, and serial number. Okay, so all this information is here. So mostly identifiers and all in corporate, I mean, I haven't used it. I haven't seen it people using it. Why? Because it's all being managed through vendor, or it's being BYOD. So it's again personal choice of, those users who are using their own devices, so that directly gets in. So don't need to do anything. And something here, when you say add and remove device enrollment manager, so this is something where you are allowing one of the device enrollment manager who is going to talk about this device manager, and this person is a non-administrative administrator, someone who will only do the enroll, who's only going to import the devices, and the maximum number of the devices is 1000, right? So in this, as a non-admin account, he can enroll as an 15 devices, right? But people who are signing in with DEM account, they can enroll and manage 1,000 devices at one go, right? So this is it's called bulk enrollment, right? This is where you're giving a permission to account which person will be called as device, or the account will be called as device enrollment manager, right? And device enrollment manager is going to add devices. So in general, if you're trying to enroll the device, you have a limit, right? You have a 15 device maximum limit. Yesterday we talked about, right? You cannot enroll more than that, right? So for this person who's called as DEM, device enrollment manager, so he can opt, and someone who is just going to import the device and can just enroll it. So this is the DEM account we're just talking about, right? Now, what is
one question here? This DEM is I mean, sort of service account, or it's actually a user account? Basically,
in Intune?
yes. I mean, what is the best practice? Like, if it's a user account and say 1,000 devices, it will enroll.
So
So every device will show that particular user as the owner, as the primary user, in fact.
yeah,
So
I mean,
is it
this
like,
is
can we
not-
make a service account for this?
yes,
or
yes, we
application
can.
account?
We can create a service account for this. So this service account will, so this is not tied or not intended to be used as a normal user. This will be intended to used as a special user account that will allow one user to enroll a large number of devices into Intune, right? So if I say enrolling regular user is going to enroll device, have a limited number of devices. DEM account is can have like 1,000 devices. So this is something useful for IT administrator, and this is a service account that you can create and you can use it.
Okay.
Okay. So I mean, if you read out the Microsoft pages, right? So officially, it does not classify as its DEM. It or is sorry, it's a DEM is a service account. But if you practicing it in your organization, right? If you're going into bulk, so it will be considered as service account, right? And this particular
Yes,
account
because
is dedicated.
everything is not there in the official documentation also.
Absolutely.
I mean, basically it is depending upon your, like, for example, you have a lot of experience how it is done in the real time. So
Right. Absolutely. So this is what it's called service account, and it all taken care by client. Usually, or the Microsoft counterpart who are setting up the environment for the client. They will suggest what to do, what is the best practices. But as an administrator or as an architect of Intune, you can also suggest like we should have a service account dedicatedly for this. If you're doing a large number of, or we are quantifying this, if we can utilize this service account and we can have one shot, we can have 1,000 devices added in bulk, right? So
yes, because from the security point of view, it also helps in segregation of duties.
right.
Otherwise, the same user. I mean, there might be some security, because this has actually, I have seen this happening.
Mhm.
That some security incident has happened, and the security team is actually asking the IT administrator that, okay, why this has happened.
Security is
So-
always to blame others, right?
No, it's not a blaming. They also don't know. They see in the logs, they see the name of the person. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, and then this is a good, best practice, I would say. Always keep a service account rather than using any admin.
Because they don't know, like some
Right.
many times, when you're talking with a cross-functional team, they don't know each other. Who is this?
Correct.
They just see the logs and see that from where it is coming,
That
from
is-
which user.
Yeah, that's true. So
And sometimes they, like, even the disastrous thing is they just block the account. So in that case, everyone get blocked.
that is true. I mean, that had happened with me earlier. I mean, we were diagnosing something, and all of a sudden we figured out some log, and they strictly, disabled that account without knowing what is the background of that. And then we had very hard time to figure it out, and then we reached out to security, and then had exception. Then we uplifted restrictions from that account. So yeah, that is true. I mean, yes, you're on the same page. Okay, shall we move on now? Next.
Yes.
Okay. I hope, guys, your doubts are clear. If any doubts, yes, you can raise your hand. You can ask me questions. We're more than happy to answer, because these classes are interactive, right? It's not a recorded session. So, and that's what I love, to be interactive. I'm also working out something where we can have some integration in Teams. We can have some quizzes and something like that, which we can make, look like a live session, right? It shouldn't be like everyone is on mute, I'm just speaking. And that's why I put that MCQ, so we have interaction, we can talk, we can understand our, where are we right now in terms of knowledge. So this is the, what I say, foundation, and this is very important. If it's not clear, that's why I've prepared a cheat sheet as well. So this is a foundation. If foundation is not properly, founded, it would be difficult to build a massive mansion on that, right? So please ask me questions. Okay. Next is, we're talking about configuration. So configuration is something we talked yesterday, just a small brief of it. Like, it is something, a configuration is something, some settings, okay, which we are going to apply, right? Configuration is something that we are enabling some sort of settings on the device which is already there. We're just trying to invoke it with various settings which we have available, right? For example, if you're using Microsoft Edge, it's a browser, right? But in browser we have multiple settings that we can implement, right? For example, in that browser, I want to implement some settings through which we can, uh, we can filter out the traffic. We can also enable the extensions. Okay, usually if you go to organizations, they will talk more about the extensions, and some of the extensions are quite essential. If you say, like, they have a Sentinel one, or they have some, from the cybersecurity standpoint, they have something which is collecting the, or collecting the data from the browsing history or something like that. So everywhere, in every organization, they have a different sort of applications or extensions which they are using for their various purposes. Like for example, we have next thing. Okay, so next thing is usually tracing out what is happening with the user, what sort of website that he's going to, what is his pattern, persona, everything. So accordingly, we customize things for our environment. So we can trace out, like, what is sort of interest of our users, and where we can enforce the restrictions, where we can uplift it, and where, all sort of settings from the setting catalog, we can pick it up from whatever that Microsoft has suggested, or they have in this unified solution. And something which is not there, which is beyond that settings, then we can have it applied using a virtually configuring a CSP. Okay, that is called configuration service provider. Okay, or maybe if you are aware about ADMX, also ADMX, in Windows we do deploy that, ADMX files, that, like, for example, I'll show you when we're doing it for Google Chrome or something. So we'll do this ADMX, and we'll try to deploy, and we'll show you how to configure and everything, right? So let's understand. So there are multiple policies which are there. Okay, for example, in configuration, if I go and I choose my platform as Windows and 10 later, so always remember, Intune is not tough, it's straightforward. All the settings are already baked like a pizza. You already have everything, all toppings and everything is already there, right? You just need to figure it out, which one you like, which one you don't like, or if you're choosing something, you must be knowing what is the impact of it, right? And for example, if I say I'm here, I just want to make it for Windows 8.1 and later, right? So of course everyone is knowing that we are currently not using 8.1, but we are using Windows 10 and later, right? So we are very straightforward. It's very it gives you choices, and in that you need to make the proper selection, right? Now we have three ways of pulling up this configuration setting. One is called template. We already have these set of templates which are available, which is really available by Microsoft. Okay, only in this category, what you can do, you can filter out using the administrative templates, or in you can go with defined templates right here, right? So for example, I want to go with email, right? So I simply click on email, and I can have my email information. I can create it. I can, for example, I have a device restriction. Let's take it out, and let me create it. So in device restriction, I am just going to set it up. So already I have multiple configuration settings, right? I just want to say, for example, I want to I want to enable the telemetry. Okay, so I can simply say yes, it is required, and send the data browsing. Depends upon what options I am choosing. Right now it says if I go enhanced, then I'll get multiple options. If I say only required, then I will say this, and if I say I want to turn off the data, it will turn off. And if I say only required, then here it will ask me if I have any telemetry proxy servers or not. Otherwise it's not needed, right? Same goes with my start layout. In my start layout, how I want my users to see the start menu, right? The layout. So if I say, if you see, this is the layout, this is designed by default, but if I want to customize it more, so I have an option here. Using that, I can pin the websites in the tile, right? And I can have all this XML. I just need to create XML, so it's not available. And I can have recently adding apps, whatever you want. You can just lock it, sign out, sleep. If you don't want to give option users to do shutdown, right? For example, if I click on here, so I get a shutdown, sleeps, lock, and everything, right? What if I want to block it? I don't want to give option users to sleep, or shut down the device, or sign out, or lock, whatever. So I can play around with everything, okay, and I can choose what exactly I want as per my organization or as per requirements, and I can make the decision accordingly. So if I say downloads on start, so if you want to show hide restart options, if you don't want to give, so you can block it directly. Switch account, so I say block, so user will not be able to switch account. So lots of things are already pre-baked. You just need to understand. You need to understand your requirement especially, right? And you can choose it accordingly. What exactly you want, you just set it up, and that way it will work. And also sometimes when you're setting up some policies for security point of view, then you must consider connecting with your security team internal, and check what exactly they want. Okay, accordingly set the priorities or set the policies which is on priority, right? So for example, display says how you want to change display. In control panel settings, right? I can have multiple things. I can choose it. For example, I want to block gaming, right? And I just want to block this for example, system applications, right? Settings or something. So sorry, this one system, I just want to block it. So all this I can play, I can choose as per my requirement, and I can make it, right? So this was one of the device restriction policy. So for example, I am now going next to Windows 10, and I'm choosing, this was earlier I was choosing this template. Now I'm choosing setting catalog, right? Setting catalog, we have full row of settings, like use with their friendly name, and it will be expanded, right? So as per your, for example, I'm just clicking here, and it will be expanded, right? For example, in add settings window, I just want to go with one particular for example, I just want to go with camera, right? So this is a camera, right? But underlying this, we have two more settings, right? And if I say I want to select all, I can choose this, and these two settings will appear here, right? If I say, so you can see these two are appearing here. What if I don't want to keep it? So I can only keep allow, and this will appear here, right? If I don't want to keep this, it will disappear, right? Same goes with other settings as well. So this is a setting picker. From here you can choose the actual setting what you want, okay, and pertaining to that you have multiple other underlying settings which you can choose, and I mean, as per your requirement, you can choose it from here, and then you can implement it. For example, I talked about email, right? So email, we have 4 settings, but not sure why it's not appearing here. Let me say data protection. So data protection is talking about allow direct memory access. and I don't want to allow this, so I can simply disable it, right? So it will be blocked. What if I just want to check this Bluetooth? So here in Bluetooth there are 7 settings which are available, right? And if I say allow advertising, allow discoverable mode, so if I say this is discoverable mode, if I say this allowed, which means whenever this user is trying to whenever his Bluetooth is enabled, he's trying to advertise, he won't be discovered on the network or wherever he is, right? So that way we can enforce settings to curb these or to stop these from implementation, because this is something, if these settings are coming from your organization, then the security team will suggest you, like, you need to have these particular only experiences or settings that you can set. For example, if I click on allow Cortana and they say just please disable Cortana, so you need to go to setting picker, go to experience. From here you need to choose allow Cortana and then disable, and then click on next and deploy this particular policy in your environment, whichever user group you're trying to. First test it out if it's working fine, and then you can implement it for others. So for example, it says allow screen capture, so this is currently allowed, and if I say not allowed, which means users won't be able to capture anything on the screen what they are seeing, right? So this is how you can have multiple, like, say, allow save files, allow save as of files, and in save as files I don't want that to be allowed, so I can simply disable and block it, so users won't be able to save anything of office files. So likewise, you need to figure it out which settings, because this is a setting catalog and it's very vast. So in this you need to identifying which setting, then expand it, take a look underlying which setting you need to apply, and then apply that. Okay, sometime you will come across like some of the settings are not here. Okay, some of the settings are not here. I mean, though you see majority of the settings are available. Okay, what are these settings? Okay, let's understand this one. What are these settings? Why we are doing it? What are these settings, and where are we going to use it, right? So for example, these settings are like, this is my machine, right? This is my machine, right? On this machine I have, as I said, Bluetooth, right? I have Bluetooth setting. Now this setting is already there on my computer, right? But it's not there in Intune. For example, when we are doing the setting picker and we didn't find this, at that moment what we require here, so at that moment we require something that is called CSB. Okay, I'll have it detailed discussion on this when we're going forward, okay, in our curriculum. CSPs are something called configuration service provider. So these settings corresponds to the path, okay, which you have here, right? So this is the path, right, which I need to tell to my Intune, right? I need to tell to Intune that, okay, this is the path in of that particular setting which you need to target. That path is called CSB, which we are going to implement through, right? So CSPs, we will be talking more about it, how you can set the desktop background and other sort of piece from CSP. CSP is something which is out of Intune, right? So either what Intune says or Microsoft says, okay, there are various settings or various changes that keep on coming in Intune, right? And for example, some settings which requires to be implemented in your organization, but that setting is not there in Intune. Okay, so there are two options, right? One option is to wait, right? You just wait. Once that setting is going to come, then you're going to implement it. Second is what called CSP. Okay, using CSP, what you will do, you are going to have it manually, and you can, because these settings are already there in your device. You just need to figure it out, what is the exact path that you need to target, and then you just do the implementation through Intune. So Intune will directly take that setting or the path and it will do the implementation without having that setting added to Intune. So that is what the enhancement in the capability. Okay, so this was just to give you idea. Sometimes you will come across in interviews that they will say why CSPs are important, right? And when and how we can use it, right? So at that moment you can tell them that okay, CSPs are something which is called configuration service provider, and these are the exposed setting or exposed or searchable settings on the computer, which is virtually available in use of or in terms of CSPs, which we can enable as a direct approach on the device for the setting enablement, and these settings are not available in Tune. That's why we are using CSPs. It is as good, just take it as an example. For example, you say that you are just having a mobile, okay, and you are in city right now, okay, you are in city, and your family is there in the village, just for example, in the village, right? What is going to happen here now? Because you have city, you have a mobile phone, right? What you're doing, you are going to call to your family, right? And how you're going to call? They have their own phone, right? They have their own phone, which is landline, okay? This is landline phone, and you already having a connect with them. So what do you know, it at your home you already have a phone through which you can connect and you can talk to your family, right? For some reasons, this number gets changed, okay? Now what will happen? You already have this phone at your home, correct? You already have this phone, but now since you do not know the number of that landline, you won't be able to call and won't be able to talk. At that moment, what you will do, you will choose a direct option here. At that direct option to reach out to family, either you can directly reach out, you just go to your hometown, meet your family, right? Or what you can do, you can choose CSP here. So CSP will do what? They will give you, either they will give you the directory access, okay? From the directory access you can check number for your family, okay, at that village or location. From there you can pick it up, or using this CSP you can uh, reach out to the technician which is nearby, and you can tell like, okay, this particular setting is not working, can you fix that? And what he will do, he will go and come and fix the problem, and then you can do. So fixing that problem, what is called Intune going to add that particular setting later point. So fixing is not straight away forward, right? I mean, it's not that your technician is just away just one call away. He's just waiting for your call, and he just called and he picked it up and said, okay sir, okay, there's a problem, okay, I'll go right now, right away. It may end up, people you called, you raised complaint, it may end up like 10 days, because it's a village, right? It's not that straightforward. So in village it may delay. So to fix that problem, either you open the directory, fetch the number, call them, and if that landline is completely shut off, then you can call to the neighborhood, tell them that I'm reaching out to them, they're not reachable, can you pass this phone or pass this message to them. So what I'm trying to make a point here, when your device having a particular setting, but your service provider or your MDM service provider does not know which setting it is, then your CSPs comes into the picture. They will tell you, okay, on this device I have a complete directory, okay, in that directory I have all the settings for this particular device. What you can do, you can pick it up, any setting whatever you want which corresponds to the settings, and then you can go to your Intune, and from there you can just go and implement it, right? So that is the beauty of CSPs, going out of the box, out of requirement, right? So if something you are just not gonna wait as an feature update from Intune, so it's better you can simply use CSPs. Okay, I think I'm taking much on this. So CSP is something like that, and then you click on next, right? You configured some settings, you understood like, okay, these are the settings. Now you can choose scope or you can choose assignment. Yesterday I already talked about, like, for every setting whatever you're going to configure, it's not mandatory to have a user group or assignment. Okay, if you're coming from SCCM background, we used to have a collection. In that we need to deploy that setting. Without choosing a collection you won't be able to click next. Now here this flexibility is there that you can pre-stage your policies, you can pre-stage all the settings that you want to, and then click on next and save it, right? So whenever your new group or whenever you are deciding your how the arrangement will work, how you'll do the testing, like you have first pilot and then you go to UAT, and UAT, then pilot, then you have a GA, then EA, and then you go with GA, early adopters, and then general adopters, then it goes to production, right? So this is how you can decide, correct? So this was setting. So that is how you can see. Now we going to choose the third option, right? So we chose template, we chose setting catalog. Now we'll go with property, right? Property is something that you can pick it up from the scratch. Okay, let's do this next. Now I go properties, okay, and I can look for all the properties which are available, right? For example, I have some application properties, right? So I can see like what is application location, install location name, right? Here it talks so many things about that particular application, right? I can choose it. For example, I just click on select. Now I have application name and everything is coming here. Now click on next. So in configuration there are these properties which will fetch details about applications which are like going to refresh every 24 hours, application version. This is something that you can install location, that I just clicked on it earlier, so we can take it out, and publisher, install scope or not. Majority of the time in your organization or in general in regular term, you are going to choose only two options. Either you're going to pick the settings from the catalog or you're choosing a template. Majority, like 90% or 95%, you are going to work with settings directly. Okay, you click on here, you choose the settings whatever you want to, and then apply it. So from the setting catalog or setting picker, it becomes easier for you to manage things, right? Because you have a good understanding, good category listing. Using that you can go underlying what are the settings that you want, and you can choose it. So for example, I was talking about Microsoft Edge, right? In Microsoft Edge, so I can see, for example, I have a download, so I can see there are two settings pertaining to it. One is called enable insecure download warnings, and enable insecure download warning both in user context and device context. So if I want to enable, so whenever user is going to download, so say it says whenever you are enabling this, so whenever user is going to download anything from any website or anything which is being downloaded over HTTP, not HTTPS, S is for secure. So if you enabled it and you configured, so what will happen, user is going to download something, and if that potentially that particular content is dangerous, then he will receive a warning in the UI, user interface warning in his browser, and it will mention like that this is an insecure download, blocked. And it's still, if user is saying no, I want to proceed with this, so he can choose proceed. So if I disable this warning will come, and it will, if I disable, of course the warnings will be suppressed. Suppressed means it will not appear. And if I say okay, I want to enable this warning, so whenever user is trying to download something, he will be notified with the warning message that okay, this is an insecure UI download which you're doing, and that is potentially a risk which you shouldn't be doing it, right? Now, okay, the best thing and the most commonly used thing is called extension. Okay, in your organizations you're gonna use this heavily. Okay, you will come across with multiple requests where they will say like, please raise a I have extension that I want to whitelist in the network settings, or I have extension that I want to apply. So the best practice I want to give you here, because I have experienced it, and this is something just I wanted to give you. uh, in your organization, you will have a one file, okay, one file which will contain, okay, all your extension, right, all of your extension. So keep on adding the new one, keep on adding below into it, right? So that way you are not messing up with other extensions. What happened in general, I mean, it's my experience, I just wanted to share you what happened. One of the newly joined Intune admin, what he did, he deployed a extension, right? One of the extension he deployed, I'm not sure, was it for EVT or something that he deployed. And what did this do? This has overwritten all these extensions in the Edge browser, right? So somehow it has overwritten, and we raised the ticket with Microsoft. Microsoft was also not able to figure it out what happened exactly. Then they went on seeing the logs and other formats. Then we figured out like there were something around 9 extensions, okay, which was the base, which was core app extensions for the Edge, and somehow those got vanished or removed, right? So to filter it out, what they suggested you to, you should have one file. In one file, keep on, what I suggested to them as a architect, I told them to have a XML file. In that XML file, you keep on adding your extensions and keep this XML file available. So whenever you have new extensions, just append that XML, have that new extension file added, and then keep on rolling it out. Because one fine day, if you do not, if one fine day, if somehow you do not what I say, some fine day you figure it out, you do not change anything, and you just did something which has actually vanished and cleared out, and you do not have any backup for those extensions, or do not have any file in XML, then it would be very difficult, hard to restore them, right? And it will become a security risk at that point of time. So always keep in mind, whenever you're playing around with extensions, be very serious, and try to use a 4i process, okay, for changing. So whenever you're sitting with someone, so either that should be similar to your band, or someone who's above of you, so he thoroughly can take a look whenever you're doing any changes, and he can suggest if there is something that is mistakenly happen or you're going to do, then he will help you out, figure it out and resolving. I mean, he should be having this same core technology knowledge, right? So if I say block for extension install type, so I can block it. So all this we'll be dealing with this when we're talking about extension and all. I can choose the exempt extensions, so I can have these extensions which will be exempted, right? All this we'll be talking more in deep. Just wanted to give you a heads up, like extensions are very critical, so when we're choosing, so okay, so this is something that we have these policies available, and this is what called Active Directory files when we are going to have ADMX, right? So what we can do with these ADMX files, so these are the administrative templates which are there for particularly for anything. Like if I say I want to play around with ADMX file for Chrome, right? So I'll do the demonstration, I'll show you how does it look like, and then you do deploy that and what sort of configuration you can play and change, right? Next is compliance policy. So configuration setting and compliance policy, don't get confused. Configuration is something which is a setting, right? A setting which is already there on your device. You are just going to configure that, right? How are you going to configure that? You have multiple catalog with this settings, which is having different set of areas, right? You go, like you have a printers, you talked about Edge, we talked about Bluetooth, we talked about other areas, right? So Wi-Fi or anything. So what we can do, we can make changes, but with compliance policy, what you're going to check. So let me give you example, okay, because the demonstration is easier than explanation. Now let's talk about configuration, right? This is my device, right? This is my device, uh, and on this particular device, uh, sorry, what happened? Can you hear me, guys? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. I think I had a fluctuation. Okay. So I'm saying that I have a device. Okay. On this device, there are various settings, right? So there are various settings. So to manage these settings, what I have here called configuration, right? Now, compliance is what this particular device should be compliant, like should be having some set of requirement met. Okay, if that requirement is not met, this device will not falling in the compliance category, right? Okay, let's give you example. This is what I say, this is, does it look like a bike something? Okay, so you have handles and all, right? uh it's not that good bike, but of course look like something, right? So here in this bike, right, what is the compliance here? Okay, what is compliant that this bike will run? Okay, tell me two three things.
Uh, According to like, as per today, it should be like BS6 or something.
No, I mean that is a different story. What see, first compliant is there should be air in both the tire. Okay, that is compliance, right? Then you talked about some government norms, right? With that, this bike should be complied to, as we talked about BS6, right? BS6 is current norm, so that it should be compliant to, right? BS6, that should be there. uh there should be, oh, I don't have any tank here, so there should be petrol, right? With this bike, if the petrol is not there in the tank, or would you be able to drive it? No, right? So air, it's there, you should have petrol in the bike, and this bike should be following the government norms, right? These are the compliant. Now let's talk about the configuration. Okay, now I have uh a planned service. Okay, for this, now I have a planned service. I came to this mechanic. Okay, he's going to, I just complained like, okay, this is in the service, I see that my headlight is not working. Okay, I don't see it's working, right? So what he will say, he will, from the configuration setting, what he'll do, he will see that, okay, this problem is the bulb. Okay, what he will do, he will change the bulb. Okay, so what is trying to say, he is going to apply a configuration policy, a configuration setting. Using that configuration setting, he is going to deploy a fix, or enable or disable, maybe bulb is not working or headlight is not working, which means in Intune terms, what it's called, it's either disabled or it's called enabled, right? So what he will do with configuration policy, he is going to enable this bulb setting, so that your bulb will start working, right? And then you will see that, okay, it started working fine. What if you say that my self on this bike is not working? So what he will do, he will deploy a configuration setting. With that setting, he will ensure that the self is now enabled. Okay, earlier it was disabled, now what he will do, he will enable that. So now what we understood here so far, first thing is, to stay compliant, we should have these first fix, right? You should have petrol, you should have air, you should have this BS norm, right? Government norms. That is the first criteria to be compliant or stay compliant, right? Then configuration setting is going to talk more about the settings which is exposed by the bike, right? Or exposed by the device. Now, for example, I say now I am he said like, okay, for example, he's saying that, okay, this engine power plug or this engine is seems like it's not properly functioning. Okay, maybe the bike was not being used from last couple of months and the engine got seized, or maybe say, okay, let's talk good example. I have a battery here, right? I have a battery which I did not use my bike, so it's completely gone. Now I visited to my nearest center and they're saying, sir, now this, I'm talking about Intune. He's saying, sir, this battery or this setting is not available with Intune. What I need to do, I need to order. And when I'm ordering it, I need to wait for 1 month, right? What he suggested me, why don't you use CSP here? Okay, I said, okay, how I can use CSP? He says, sir, you can reach out to any nearby vendor, or maybe if I say I have a Royal Enfield, so I will visit to Royal Enfield and they'll say, for example, they don't have that the battery right now, or they have some other batteries which is not there. So what I'll say, okay, what I do next, then he will say go to CSP and get the new battery. So CSP will what do, he will point me to that address where I can go and pick this battery, or they can also that order. For example, if I'm in hurry, I can also directly go and pick it from that. So what they are saying, go to this location, this is where you will see this battery, you go pay and pick it up. So that is what called CSP here, right? CSP is going to point me out for that setting which is already there or which you can implement manually by setting up some path, and that path is already correspond to your device, and your device already having that virtually, that settings is already available or exposed virtually, and these settings are already lying with that device. You just need to figure it out, what is the registry path where I need to connect to and change the settings using the CSPs, and that way it will fix the problem. Okay, am I clear here so far? Any confusion, any doubt? These are two very important aspects, and you will come across on daily basis. You will come across with configuration settings, you will come across with compliances, and compliances are something which is really tedious. Your client will every day or every month he will ask you, give the compliance data, how many devices are compliant, how many devices are non-compliant, how many in grace period, how many are fallen behind. All these things that he will quote you, he will ask you to provide the details, and you need to figure out, or you need to work out with security team or internally to maintain that compliance. Okay, if this is a BYOD device, you need to send a circular or notification to those, and you need to figure out somehow you need to maintain the compliance, and that way you can have it like 95% or 96% devices should be on compliant. If those which are not, then you need to figure out a plan, and you need to show that to them and implement, so that you can avoid any non-compliant devices fetching in or there in your device, in your environment. Also, you can in terms of compliance, you can set some days in which you are giving the grace period, and after that you are just going to put that, or you can directly put those devices which are non-compliant for certain days, you can put them into the retire list, and these devices will be auto retired. For example, I have 5 devices right now, but I'm only using 2 devices. Okay, I'm using my Android phone, I'm using my Windows computer, right? I have a MacBook, I have one iPhone, right, and one other the touchpad iPad. So I'm not using those 3, but I'm using only particularly these 2 devices. So those 3 devices will fall under the non-compliance because I'm not checking in on them daily basis. So someday or another it will be marked as non-compliant, and I need to either clear it up, yes Divakar, or I need to fix that non-compliance issue on that. Okay,
वैभव, जो भी आपने बताया ना कि you can ask for the report. कि how many devices are compliant or non-compliant.
Right.
So जो अभी आप बता रहे थे ना कि
English. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
yeah, so you were just telling me that
Mm-hmm.
about the Graph API.
Mm-hmm.
So can't we get those information through the Graph APIs?
So Graph API is something to fetch the information, right?
Yeah.
Graph API is something like you connect to your HR team, right? And you tell like this is a user, okay? I want or this is the department. I want all the users who belongs to this department. So what HR is going to do? They will populate a list of those departments user, and it provided to you with their name, their mobile number, their address, whatever you want, whatever attribute you're looking for, they will give it to you, right? Same goes with Graph API. Graph API is going to tell you that this is the non-compliance and all, but Graph API is not going to fix until you're doing any remediation or you're doing any script or something, right? Graph API is good to fetch the information for compliances, right, and fix that, right? For
And we can
example,
get the information of the system, that how many systems are compliant or non compliant, right?
that will give you also, it will also, in terms of compliance, okay, for example, if I say I have Intune compliance policy which is deployed, okay, depends upon what exactly causing the problem. For example, I say okay, let me clear it out. It's a nice question, but let me give you answer here. So for example, I have a compliance. Now I'm using Graph API, right? Now using this Graph API, I want to fix my compliance policy, okay? Now compliance policy is I'm going to talk about compliance policy where I'm seeing that, okay, I have some of the devices which especially out of sync for some reason, okay? I have a like good fleet of devices. Well, for example, I have 1,000 devices which are out of sync, okay? So what I can do, I can run a sync in a bulk, okay, and I can do this for all these 1,000 devices, okay? That way Graph API will work, right? I want to retire a device, okay? I can have a list of devices, I can do a retire, I can delete the stale entry, that will work, and I want to assign a compliance policies for a set of devices or set of user group, I can do it. I want to change the or update the category, okay? I need to update the category for devices, I can do it. I want to change the ownership of the devices, I can do it from Graph API, right? I want to force something, compliance evaluation, I can do it. But these are the certain things which I can do. Now you say, okay, now sir, what else we can do Graph API? So Graph API somehow it will, with compliances especially, for example, there is a failure happening for BitLocker, right? What is the problem here? BitLocker is not turned on, okay? So what it will do, it will not enable that turn on, right? You need to do it physically, right? For example, I want to enable TPM. So for TPM, and if the TPM is missing, then Graph API won't be able to enable this TPM, right? If I want to install some security updates, Graph API is not gonna help you out. If I want to remove some malware, right? So Graph API won't be able to fix that. So all these things, what it can, what it cannot, right? There are some restrictions from Graph API as well, right? I hope I answered it.
Yes, I understand. Okay, fine.
No question. Ask question. If there is any doubt, just clear it out now.
No, I'm just looking on the system for this Graph API. So it's only telling me that you can give the information as per you said. It will give you the information that how the system component. The rest of the work will be done by you only, because it cannot be performed automatically.
Correct.
So you're right.
Yes.
Yeah. So it can give you the information that how many systems are on going to be retired or on that mode or compliant non-compliant.
Right.
They can give you the certain information, but the rest of the work will be done by you only.
The rest of the action, you can not rely on Graph API. Here's something. It can help you with remediation, right? It can help you some sort of triggering issues, or maybe sync, as we talked about. It can, choose, for example, I want to have something related to some compliance policies, which this policy or the device is not synced, so it's not working. So I can force it using that, but I cannot rely on that, right? So two things: configuration, compliance, we are good with that. Right now, let me go to compliance. Let me tell you what it is. If I go to create policies, right, and I come to here, I'll choose this. Now I again have two ways of doing it. One is template. So in template, we already have some compliance policies which we want. For example, I say Wi-Fi. Okay, so this you should check. This should come. Not sure why it's not coming. Usually VPN. Okay, so these are some of the built-in policy. I'm not seeing the list, but it comes here, and using that you can also choose. And we have this Windows and 10 11 compliance policy. So this is specially designed. This is where you can go put a name of the policy. It is like a template, so already there. You're just choosing it as per your need, right? Now these compliance policies are very important when we are going to set it up. So I can have a custom compliance policy. If I want to run some script in a PowerShell, I can do that, and that script is going to run on the devices, and it will fetch the information pertaining to that. And that I can upload a JSON file which will have a custom compliance settings. That way we can trigger this compliance policies to the devices, and this JSON file will be updated, and it will look at the registry and other stuff, and it will pull up the information about and how the device is compliant or not, everything, right? So I'm not going to do with custom. Okay, I'll go with the built-in. So for example, Windows 11, this is really mandatory thing whenever you are going to implement any compliance policy, especially for Windows. These are very important stuff, right? So always enable these three. Okay, as per standard security norms also, you're going to enable this, because you don't want any device which does not comply with these fallen security measures. Then it will be evaluated or marked as an non-compliant, right? So it is coming from Microsoft Attestation Services, right? In that we will do the evaluation. Now device property is something. This is where I can say what is the minimum OS version, right? As we talked about bike example, right? So minimum bike should have air in their tires, right? So I can have minimum versions. For example, if I say my OS version currently, so it is telling me that I'm on 10.0 dot something called 26200 dot, it will say. So this is my minimum version. Maximum version I'm not setting it up. Minimum OS for mobile devices I can choose like 15 or whatever you can call it out, and you can click on this I button, which will tell you what exactly the OS version, the oldest OS version should look like. Okay, which version should you define and everything, what is the build revision, everything you can put it here. So now this is for mobile devices, right? And I'm seeing configuration compliance. So if you're using if you're using SCCM, so you can mark it if you are doing compliances from configuration manager or SCCM. If not, then leave it as it. System security, so this is where you can enforce policies or passwords which will be deployed to unlock the mobile devices, right? So this is where you can put what would be the password type. I say numeric. Okay, what would be the length? I said 4. Okay, let's keep it 4. What is the maximum minute when the device, for example, if the screen is inactive, so it will say 5 minutes. If it's inactive, it will again trigger to enter the password, right? What is the expiration date? So for example, if I say 30 days, in 30 days the password will be auto rotated. You need to it will be expired. You need to create a new password, right? Number of previous passwords. So for example, I say 5 previous password which I have used or user have used. They should not use it repeatedly again and again. So to stop it, these 5 password we can prevent for reusing. require password when device returns from ideal state. Okay, so this is something when you're choosing for mobile and holographic, so that way you can do it. Encryption wise, how you want to encrypt the data storage and all, so we can have it like TPM should be there, firewall should be there, antivirus, if you have antivirus in your environment, you can, you know, trigger it up. If you're using Defender, you can choose Defender as a default anti-malware, right? You can choose the minimum version, whatever you're using in your environment, right? If you want to set the intelligence up to date, that you can do. Real-time protection you want, yes, I can. Then from Defender standpoint, this is where it tells you like what score you want to keep. Okay, I want to save for medium, so I just wanted to mention here, and you can click on this particular link. It will tell you in exact what rules are there through which you can set these scores, right? So all this are there, and then once it's done, you can click on next. Now here, this is the important one. This is where it says mark device as non-compliant. Okay, non-compliant means those devices are not falling under our compliance policy, you know, settings. Then what I can do, I can either choose the device to retire list. When I want to do this, I want to do this in 45 days, for example. So 30 days I'm giving a grace period. If 30 days is over and users are not still not following the instructions, then it will be fallen under retire list, right? And then if I click on next, then it will go into the retire list, and this device will be in retire list shortly, and then it will be auto deleted once it's done. Okay, so guys, take a break here. You want to take break for I mean, I'll not take it. I don't want to bore you something. If it's not interesting, then we can take a break. Maybe you guys can just uh, take some coffee or something, or just drink some water, maybe come back again refreshing, and then we can start further with the scripting and other Windows update and other stuff. Okay, all right.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool,
so
cool.
let's take a break for 10 minutes. Okay. Hey guys. Okay, everyone is here. Let's start again.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Yes.
Right. Okay, so we talked about the compliances, right? And now next is what called script and remediations. Script and remediation is something. When remediation is something, first it will do the detection of the problem, right? It will monitor that, and then it will do the remediation, means fix. So for example, currently I don't have it says like my Windows license requires a remediation to be enabled, right? So this is not enabled. Somehow if I go to my tenant administration, right, if like click on here, uh, I need to enable that. So I just I mean I'll show you later. Let's talk about it. If we go in detail, this will become difficult. So if I say Windows, and under Windows we are talking about script and remediation, so we can create scripts here, and that script package will show up who is author of that package, right? What is the current status, whether that script package which we created that got deployed on the devices or not, how many devices got the fixed, how many devices got the issues resolved and all. So this will come. So when we are going to set or talk about the script, we will be trying to develop script packages, and we'll show you how does this look like currently, right? Then we have a group policy analytics. Group policy analytics is something when you have an on-prem environment, right? And you want to migrate those policies from on-prem. And I think everyone heard about the term called GPO, right? GPO is a group policy objects. So these group policies objects are created on-prem, right? And these on-prem group policy objects we are going to migrate in our modern management, right? So when we are doing import here, so that way we are going to import the group policies which we have taken as an from the GPMC result. Okay, so for example, if I say GPMC, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't have, this is not a server, this is a basic machine, so I don't have it, but I'll go to the server, I'll show you. We can export that whatever policies we have on our server, right? We can export it, make it in XML, right, format, and then just import it here, right? You just click on next and then just import it. Once it's imported, it will come here and it will show you how many policies are ready to migrated, how many policies are not supported, how many policies are deprecated. Deprecated means these are the old policies which does not support now modern management, or these policies are okay to manage only on-prem, right? It will not work with modern management, right? So these are the policies which you're going to talk about it. We are going to look at group policy. So mainly this will help you with the migration, right? This tool is going to fetch all those GPUs in HTML as a backup. Then your Intune, we're going to migrate. So Intune will report which particular setting is going to work directly with this, with the catalog which we just saw, right? We saw all the catalog, right? These configuration catalog. So which policy or which setting is there in the catalog that will work, or which ADMX which is cloud equivalent, that will work fine, and which are partially supported, right? Or some of them which does not have equivalent pace as in we have in cloud, right? So that won't work here. When we going to import, then we'll talk about it, how the migration work and how all these policies will look alike, and whether that supports the MDM capabilities or not, whether these are targeted to AD and all, last import and everything, we'll talk about it. So this is something when you're doing a migration. Okay, this is a migration assist tool, you can call it out, right? So this will only work when you are doing some migration and your client is saying that, okay, I have these many policies. I want you to go through, review it and see which policy is, how many policies that we can migrate here in Intune and we can assist. So this is in the modern management. This is the way through which you can populate all those GPUs and then import it through the through the policy name. You'll get this imported. Then from the setting count, this will give you what are the total number of configuration settings which is available or inside this GPU, right? Then we have a supported by MDM. In that, it will show you what are the count on which this setting is equivalent or direct in the cloud, in equivalent or in the environment, right? Some of them you will see that it's not supported, which means that these does not have a MDM equivalent capabilities, right? These are the hard blocker, or these policies does not apply fully in cloud migration, right? So you can tell to your AD admin maybe, and some of them call as migrate. Okay, so that will that this button, this particular button will appear here, right? So that way you can go migrate, right? Click on migrate, and then in one click the action will be performed. It will create the matching settings catalog profile from the supported subset of the settings, and that way you can migrate all these policies or group policies. Okay, so this is a very essential tool. This is very important when you are doing in the environment. If you're playing around and you're doing the migration, this is really cool stuff. Okay, now eSIM cellular profiles, these are currently in preview. We haven't used it, so now I think no one is using physical machines. I mean, especially I'm talking about outside. Now here in India also we started using eSIMs. So these eSIMs and how you can deploy it from the operator side. So you need to have a CSV which telecom will provide, and those will connect, consolidate all the eSIMs that you have with the cellular subscription. Then you can import it, and this is where it will show you, like, this is the cellular subscription details, and this is where it will show you the cellular details, right? And this is where it will talk about the activation codes. So using that activation code you can activate this. So mainly, I haven't seen people are using, if you are stick to any client which is a telecom provider, or he's an operator maybe, like we have Vodafone, Airtel, in Sweden we have Tele2, right? In Australia we have Optus, right? So in different countries, they have a different source of telecom service providers, and they provide you all the details, right? So this is where you can go and get it. So this is in preview mode, and once it's full-fledged available, you will have more details on this. If you want to take a look on what it is, you can simply click on this learn more about new sim experience, right? And then you can take a look. Now come most important stuff is called most talked thing. So this is where group policies, Windows updates. So these are the most most of the time time you're spending this on enrollment, right? This is where you're spending your time when you're doing a Windows autopilot or something. This is where you are putting your 90%, right? This is where you are putting your 90%, and this Windows update, this is where you are spending every month a good amount of time, right? So 90%, right? 90%. This is like you are just setting it up. So 30%, like it's just one time setup. Once the setup is done, you are good. And this is where you are putting like 98%. You're talking about the Windows update. You are setting up rings. Every month you are looking at the reports, ensuring the compliance is met. And now clients are looking compliance which is more than above 95%, right? That is where they say that they have a very stable, or I would say I've seen clients which are looking for 98 to 99% of SLA as well. So 95 is something feasible, 95, 96 is feasible, which is okay. We can run the remediation, we can do the fixes and all. But if you are saying that okay, 99% of SLA report or compliance, so which means when someone is preparing a report, they are they are preparing a compliance report. So at that moment they are not picking some of the conditions or the machines which are there, and that way they are preparing, or they have a CMDB which is either not working fine, or there is some corruption maybe, or the integration is not working somewhere. They are doing something which is not a good practice, which showing as 99% of SLA, right? So okay, let's talk about Windows Update here. Windows Update is something where you are deploying Windows Update through the policies, and this is where you are setting up. If you have not license for E5, then you won't be able to set auto patch something. This is where you can go and look at the releases. What are the new releases there in the environment? And if you go to update links, this is where it talks about how to create update policies and everything, right? So if I click on here and I just give the name of the policy, for example, Windows updates, right, and click on next, this is where it shows me all the update links which are available, right? So I can talk about if I am interested to go with the Microsoft updates, I can go do, of course, yes. If I don't want to do the Windows drivers, so how does Windows driver works here? So Windows drivers working like your vendor or your partner. For example, I have a OEM partner, like I have a Lenovo machine, right? So this particular Lenovo machine is partnered with Microsoft, and what they're going to do, they are going to set up their drivers. They are putting directly in the, I'll talk more deep into that. Okay, usually people don't talk about the drivers and all, so I'll go deep. I'll tell you what exactly happens. So that OEM is uploading their driver version updates over the Microsoft catalog server, right? And from Microsoft catalog server, these drivers are getting synced. Okay, and these are getting synced, and then you have started these updates starts flowing in your Microsoft updates wherever it is coming, second week of Tuesday. We are getting this. So this is where you can choose then what is the quality date or deferral periods. So for example, there is one deferral. Just want to give you example. Deferral is something like now FIFA is everyone is playing, right? So what is called defer here? Just to give you in real world example. So here, this is a net, right? This is a net in which, wow, why it's very slow. Okay, so this is a net, for example. Okay, and this is one person who's a goalkeeper. Is it not working or what? Okay, now it's very slow. Okay, so this person is a goalkeeper, right? And he is having extended hands, right? And he's just going to save your code from the goalkeeping, right? I mean, he's safeguarding it. So now this updates are going to come. Wait a second, I'm just not liking it. Something is happening here. It's not working properly or what? Okay, so what I'm saying that I have some of these field players, and they are just throwing a ball for this particular country, maybe they're playing to, right? And he's just trying to save himself, or he just don't want to get that ball into the court, right? So what he's doing, he's just trying to confront, right? And defer is something that, okay, as you said, like tomorrow, like in normal student life, I have also experienced, right? So our parents call it out like, okay, please prepare for the examination that is gonna come in month of February or something, the final exams, like maybe we talk if you have appeared for board exams and all. So they keep on chasing, right? You need to complete, you need to be best scorer, board is very tough and all. And what do you do exactly? You keep on deferring it, right? You keep on deferring. Okay, no, I'm not doing it, I'm playing music right now. Then you said, okay, I want to do it later, I'm not in a good mood, I have very bad headache, my stomach is not good, and all sort of things. You keep on giving them different excuses, and you just want to defer it, right? So you have a deadline of deferral. Okay, at that point of time you can defer it at certain amount of time, and then after you need to accept that fact. Okay, now your board exam is now you need to go and attempt that board examination. And if you don't attempt or you do not appear for the examination, then you will be considered as fail, and the entire year you will be called as dropped, right? And again next year you need to again refill, apply for the same, go sit exam, complete it. So 1 year will be completely wasted, right? So the same way we are talking about here when we doing the Windows update. When Windows update are coming, so they have some deadlines. They have some timeline like 30 days or something. In that 30 days, you need to accept those Windows updates. And if somehow you are skipping it up, so you can extend, you can defer it for some time, for some days, but you cannot defer it permanently, right? So if I say I have some deferral periods. So for example, I say 45. So it gives me this value. Okay. So this says this is the deferral, the maximum that you can defer, right? 30 days is the maximum deferral that you can choose, which means you have a board exam in a year, right? So you start from January and you ending up like December. You can maximum defer it to December. That by maximum September or October, you can say that I don't want to study and all. But in October and November, November somehow you need to be very serious, okay? Because in December you have examination. November is something when you need to be very cautious about it, and only you have 30 days. Then 30 days, you cannot skip those 30 days. After 30 days, you have to have appear that examination. You need to, either you fail or pass, whatever, but you need to appear it, right? So same way goes here. 30 days is the maximum day that you can defer, and later point, you don't have any consideration or don't have any options to defer it. I hope deferral is clear. Deferral is something like people gets confused. They give vague answers in the interviews. So deferral is something when you are avoiding to do something at some point of time, but at last this is you own the accountability, right? You need to do that even though it's your will is not there, but still you need to pick it up. Same goes with quality updates. Your system, these quality updates is like the fixes which is coming on every month, right? And these fixes are coming for the fixes for the last month. So for example, I say that, okay, I have a quality updates, right? And for example, I say I have a quality update, which is for this month, right? I say this month is July, right? So in June, what I did, I somehow did miss my June updates, right? I did miss it. But in July, when I'm going to get these updates in July, so this will also add that June update into it. Okay, so that way I won't miss it. Why? Because it will give me all those fixes. It will give me all those updates which I missed for June, and in July month I can take it up. So that's why the 30 days of deferral is given. So if in any which way, if you skip it, 30 days deferral means 30 days updates, whatever there in previous month, that will be accumulated, that will be in the package form, and that will be given. So whatever fixes or whatever the new changes or implementation or security feature that has come, that will be added here. Same goes with feature update. So feature update, let's try something and say I is 30, and so feature updates having a 365 days. If I say I want to go with 400 days, it will give you the error message, right? It says that only 365 days is the maximum that you can delay one feature updates, right? After that 365 days, you have to accept that I need to go along with that, right? And this says like upgrade Windows 10 to this, so I can choose it. Okay, so I think I'm going more detail here. So just understand, these are the policy, these are the rings actually that you can create accordingly, and then you can deploy. Then we have here something called feature updates. So you want to look in your environment how many your machines are ready for feature updates, right? Or these machines can be taken into account, where we want to update it to the next version, right? So for example, my current machine, if you see that my current machine is currently on I think it is on 25H2, right? So this is already on the latest version. What if my machine would have been at 24H2, right? So I need to choose this 24H2, right? I need to give a name, version update 25H2, right? And then I need to give the description or something, right? Make available to users as a required update, right? So it will be as a required update. Also, I can make it as available as soon as possible, right? Or I can choose a date in which I can decide, on this date this feature update will be available for the users, so they can go and they can download it, right? And they can deploy it, and then click on next. This is where I need to choose the scope and then do the assignment and which group I want to deploy and test it out. And accordingly I can do the feature update, right? Same goes with quality updates as well. So here you can also do some readiness check, for driver updates. If you want to do some driver updates, you can do it. So once I create update rings, this driver update will start working and it will flow. So these driver updates are the ones which we're talking about. We have certain vendors, they are updating their drivers directly on the catalog, and that gets synced with Windows Auto Patch, that we can do it. So earlier this was a really hectic problem. We used to have, like, we need to directly go to the vendor's website, direct download for the driver, then package it, then deploy it, and separately we need to do this Windows update. So it was too chaotic situation that point of time, but that way we can overcome by since it's already migrated, or this since it's already added to. Now this is the monitoring blade. This is where you do the monitoring for all the deployments. So you have a different set of deployments which you're going through. All this you can take a look here directly, right? So what is happening in the environment, you can take a look. So that was Windows update. And then we have a device cleanup rules. So I can set a rule, a thumb rule at that point of time, where I can figure it out, how many devices are inactive and not working, and I can simply just remove them from my environment. Okay, so if I say what is the how many days I need to take it, like 45 days. So it says once you create this, all the devices which are inactive, that will automatically be removed after this set of days. So 45 days my Intune will wait for these devices. If these devices are still inactive on next 46 days, it is going to move these devices, okay, and put it in the cleanup. It will automatically remove these devices from the Intune, so you won't be able to see that. Whenever you're going to search it, you won't be finding it out here, right? So that is the device cleanup. And assignment filter, we'll be talking more about it, what is all assignment filter. So when you are setting up deploying anything, for example, I have a stack. Let me give you example if this works fine. So for example, this is my organization, right? In this organization I have a different departments, right? Now I'm not saying this is an organization, right? With the same organization name, what I had done, I have created a group. Okay, so I have created a group of Annectens, for example, and in Annectens, in this group I have 10 people, for example, now. And this 10 people, one is using Google, one is using Samsung, and a few are using some Chinese brand like for Oppo or something, right? Or OnePlus, right? And then we have iPhone users as well, right? So this is how I have like iPhone users, then I have a Google and all. So what I can do, I know that in one group I have different set of people. So to filter out these people, this is what called filter. Okay, to filter out these people, I can create a filter. That way it will filter Google from this particular list where I have 10 people with the different subset of devices, right? So what I can do, for example, I'll mention here as a Google. Okay, let me show you how does this look like. So I just say Google, next. Okay, let me choose this. So I am just saying this is for Android Enterprise. Let's go. Okay, this is where I can choose what is the manufacturer, right? And I say this manufacturer is Google. Okay, so what it will do, it will give me a syntax query and that syntax query I can apply to the group wherever I'm going to deploy anything. I'll use this group. So I'll do the demonstration. I mean, I don't have any devices right now with Google manufacturer, of course. So if I click on next, so this particular setting is the filter is already applied with the device manufacturer rule, right? And I click on create, right? So this particular filter is now will appear here. Okay, so it's not showing up, but maybe it will come. Let me do a refresh. Just a second. Okay. I'm not sure. Somehow it's okay. Sorry, this was so. This is see. This is the problem. This filter. Here we have chosen as Windows platform, right? And we have created what it is for Android, right? If I say Android, and so Android is not here. For example, if I select all, so we are talking only about Windows. So only Windows filters will appear. Now let's see. Let's go ahead and create a filter for something called Lenovo. Okay, and I'm going to choose this for Windows 10, and next I'll choose the device manufacturer. Here I can choose here, and I can choose it as Lenovo, right? So this filter will come here. Next. Okay, I created this, came here. Now for example, I want to deploy a compliance policy, right? And in this compliance policy, I just want to, so for example, this is already there, right? This is the default compliance policy, or I think I had created earlier. Then I go to properties, and let me see if I can put something. So this is already deployed. Let me click here on this group. In this group, it's already applied, but you see this something called edit filter. Okay, something called its edit filter. In this group, I have something called edit filter. So if I click on edit filter, it will tell me what to do with this filtration. Okay, whether you want to include something, right, or whether you want to exclude something, right? So if I say, all right, I just want to include something here. So I'll do one thing. I'll click on include, and it will give me this query. I click on this, right, and I just click on select. So this filter is now applied, if you can notice here, right? And what it filter is mode is included. So in this particular group, if I have any device, I mean all these other Dell, HP and all there, we have multiple set of devices, right? In multiple sets, I'm looking for only Lenovo devices, right? So only Lenovo devices will be filtered out, and those only will be included where this compliance. Sorry guys, I think some network fluctuation. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so what I was trying to say, yes, what I was trying here, that in this group we already have different set of manufacturers devices, right? On top of that, I want to stick with one manufacturer, so I want to filter out his device, including the filter mode, right? What if I want to exclude those, right? I don't want to touch any Lenovo devices, so I can choose a filter which will talk about more on the exclusion. So I can choose exclusion, right? And I can choose this one and click select. So it will not touch, these compliance policies will not touch these manufacturer device which starts with, which having a Lenovo partner. So that way this, this works fine. Something is not working here. So that way it works fine, and the filters are very important. 1 second, getting a call. So that is how the compliance policy or the filtration works. Okay, so this window blade is completed now. Divakar, yes, please ask question.
So we can also separate, Office on devices and BYOD here, right?
We can use the filters, right? We can differently. We can choose, like if I say I have set devices. If I go to managed apps, right? for example, and I choose which platform you want to, if I say Windows, and then I can choose what is the make and model, and then you can choose it. For example, we talked about Lenovo just now. So Lenovo, right? And I create this query, this scope tag and all. And this is how I can, whenever I'm applying any app, whenever I'm doing any application deployment, right? So I can have this application filter. Using that, I can choose whether I want to deploy this to in this group, whether I want to deploy this for this many users or not. For example, in a group, I have Android devices also, I have other devices also, right? Or any application which I am stick to only to deploy to Windows, then I can apply a filter. Okay, and I can choose it accordingly. So I'll show you when I'm doing the practical.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Anything? So Windows Blade is completed. We will be commencing. So under devices, Windows is completed. Then we'll talk about Apple, Mac, and Android. And so it's all those, whatever I just showed you, right? It is here, but it's commonly accessible. In Blade wise, if we go to platform wise, then we have a different dedicated settings. But if you go here directly, so all these options are available. So we'll discuss this outside as well. And since we discussed this internally, so just wanted to clear out, as per the platform, what are the settings that you can create, which you will certainly creating when you're dealing with the, in your environment, when you're dealing with the client or you're dealing with the devices, then you can certainly do it. Otherwise, all these options are already available outside as well. So if I click on enrollment, I can see all these options are there. I'm not sure, this is not working. So all these options are already there that you can configure it before. So I have Apple, I have corporate devices, Android, everything. I can do it from here, right? And manage devices. So how we can manage configuration, compliance, conditional access. So conditional access is something is a part of Entra. If you take a look on top of it, it says Entra ID, right? So Intune is a mix of all different services which combines Intune as a robust UEM or MDM solution, right? So unified endpoint management, we can do it from here. So conditional access is something we'll talk about. It's very detailed. It's very cumbersome. It's very important to understand it properly. And policy set, device category and all, we'll be talking about it when we are coming outside from these device platform, right? So that's all for the day, and we'll connect on Monday, right? Any questions, any doubt? Otherwise, we are good to wind up for the day. Nope.
Not so far, but yes, if I would face any kinds of challenges, then I'll make on for call.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, that's why I want you to be interactive, be on the calls, be in, have an engaging conversation, right? That's why I'm trying to simplify things by giving the demonstration, giving examples as many as possible, so you don't forget things. If you can correlate something in the real world and you can see it in the demonstration, you won't forget that, So now you will not forget deferral, since we talked about the board examinations, right? So you can defer it at certain level, but in last 30 days, you need to prepare for that quality updates or quality numbers. So you need to be very cautious. In 30 days, you need to prepare. So you appear for a board examination and then you clear it out. So that way, if you want to look for the quality updates, right? And 365 days, we talked about the feature update, right? So feature update is something where you have like 1 year. For example, if I were studying in class 7th, or class 9th, right? Then 10th, or for the board examination, I have 365 days. In 9th class, I will start looking at the right school where I can go and, choose my, board examination. Or if you're doing your graduation, right, you're in 12th, then you might have prepared earlier, like 1 year before you have prepared, you started searching where I should go, which college should I go, which university should I appear for, or should send the applications. So these universities, they open their gates 365 days before, right? So you go appear, apply for that, you wait for the examination, for entrance exam, you go, you appear that, then you clear it up, then your admission goes. So 365 days is something called feature update, right? You're changing feature from one feature to another feature. So you're changing from college to going to universities, then that feature change gives you 365 days. So that is how you can relate. I mean, I'll give you ample amount of examples, don't worry, so you'll never forget things whenever you're setting up or you're doing anything in your environment. Okay, so I hope this session was informative, guys, and I really appreciate. Yep. What is
So, deferred, so quality, the period for the quality update is like, 30 days only, right? Right. So
quality?
suppose if I select, yeah, so suppose if I select 15 days, so add that message on my mail ID that, you should update the quality updates now.
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
So there is a deferred period, right, for the quality updates, 30 days. Okay, maximum period is 30 days. So suppose if I select 15 days for that, okay. So on 15 days or prior to that, it will give me some sort of pop-up on my system or on my mail ID that I need to update these quality updates from my end.
So quality updates is coming in your Windows, right? Windows updates directly. So you will not get any this email or something, right? For this, this will directly sit in your machine. If you go to start and you just type Windows update, you will see that Windows update will automatically start doing the scan. It will, as soon your machine is powered on and connected to network, it will reach out to Windows update. It will talk to it with the orchestrator. It will identify which patches should I take it to, right? And if your policy is saying like 15 days, you shouldn't be doing all this check-in and all, right? So 15 days your machine is going to power on, connect to network, talking to Windows update. But as per the policy, it will say no, I'm blocked to poll anything for 15 days. So 15 days there will not be any polling, but after 15 days it will, in your active hours, as per your policy or as per the offer of the updates, it will start looking at the this actual Windows updates, right? So it will scan it, schedule it as per the user availability or activities. It will put in the active hours, it will deploy, it will choose the restart behavior, whatever you have given, and accordingly it will furnish the deadline, and it will complete the Windows update. So you'll not get any email or any notification or someone is just calling you, sir, your Windows updates are ready. It's now 15 days. Please
So,
do it.
Vaibhav, this notification do appears on the system, not on the email, but on the systems
On the
after
system.
designated time.
Yes.
Yes, you definitely get a pop-up and a notification that your system needs to be applied.
Yeah, right hand side you will get a tools
And
notification.
sometimes it forcefully can give you a timeline that your system in next 1 hour, if you do not restart and apply the updates,
Correct.
after 1 hour, your system will automatically restart and apply the updates.
So it is something when you forcing
Forcing, but
Windows.
on a particular endpoint or device, not on the email, user's email.
Yeah, yes.
No notification will go.
Exactly.
But yes, definitely on the device it will go.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, understood. Okay.
Prakash, what is the question? Hi.
Hi, Vaibhav. Good morning.
Good morning. What you messed up with your lab now?
So I'm logged out on my global admin account. I know, the username and password, but during signing, Microsoft asked me to, approve the request in Microsoft Authenticator.
Then?
The Authenticator app isn't receiving the prompt, and the account is gray out.
Account is gray out.
I mean, in Microsoft Authenticator.
So you can remove it and re-edit, nah? That's what's the problem?
No, but there's no option to remove the domain as well. So would you please submit a request on behalf of me, because I'm not able, even though I'm not able to, raise a ticket to Microsoft because my account is logged out, right? I'll give you my detail.
No, wait. Let me understand your scenario here. You opened your authenticator and you're saying that your account password is logged out.
Yes, the global admin.
Global admin account is logged out.
No.
Okay. So in that case, you need to drop an email from the registered email address to Microsoft.
So yesterday I have done, I mean, yesterday I have did the same, but I haven't received any email, sort of email. And I try to contact, there's a
Is it a
10-digit
developer
mobile number.
subscription? Is it a developer subscription?
Yes, yes.
Uh, in the developer subscription,
If I spell out
It might
yes.
take 24 hours, maybe more than 24 hours to reply. That is also possible. You do not have the, I mean, that's a free subscription, right?
I mean, there is a
That
free
does not have any
subscription.
SLA. Does not have any SLA, so they will not reply immediately. Maybe they will take time.
I mean, we.
Even I try to contact the Microsoft DLP, right? The call got disconnected every time.
That should not happen.
No, I'm just thinking. As a global admin, you signed in and you choose your authentication. You did the register your MFA and all, and then you forgot your password or your
but
MFA.
Vaibhav, no, Vaibhav, just tell me. I mean, by default, the MFA it's not applicable for the global account. In case if you not forcefully apply MFA right to the global admin account, correct? But I never did the same. But I don't know why it asking me when I put user and sign the password, right? It asked me to approve the request in Microsoft Authenticator using the number matching the two-digit code, right?
Right. Okay.
But the problem is the Authenticator app isn't receiving the prompt.
So why, like, if you go to Microsoft sign in page, are you not able to forget password from there and just choose the identity and do the change the
No.
password from there?
No, again, but it asked me to, you have to prove the request in Microsoft Authenticator.
I think password is right, but what he's saying is that the second factor is not coming on his mobile, so he's not able to approve the request. That is what Prakash you
yes,
are
yes,
telling.
Amit. Yes, Amit, that's correct.
Okay, so
You don't have any.
the correct password, but you are not. So there could be one reason. Maybe you can try. I'm not sure if that resolve the problem. You can try to change you are on Wi-Fi or on the data network.
Both. I have
You
tried.
tried switching both.
Yes.
Like just log in and try switching both. Like sometime it happens that if you are on Wi-Fi you won't get it, or either you are on mobile data you won't get the approval request. This happens to me all the times. When I am on mobile data, I don't receive the request, but when I switch to Wi-Fi, I receive the request.
Which request? I'm sorry, I'm not getting you.
The second factor, approval request, MFA
Okay.
request.
But he's saying that it's grayed out, isn't it?
No. It's not grayed out. It should be a push notification, right?
Yeah, that's what
The
I'm
push
thinking.
notification. No. See, the push notification has been delivered to my Microsoft Authenticator. Okay. But during signing,
See, when you
Microsoft asked me to
when you sign in, right, their option says if you cannot use authenticator, then you can choose another way of authenticating. Maybe you can get some other mode. I'm not sure.
but it not allow. Understood, but not allow me to set a different option, right? It asked me to approve the request in Microsoft Authenticator using
Can you share your screen?
Yeah, maybe if you can share, let me.
Because as Webber said, there is an option like on the screen you get option to specify different method also.
I mean, this is strange.
Like
I mean, first time I have heard.
Cancel it, or you can go back.
So Prakash, this is my global admin account, right? I'm going and signing this. See,
I cannot
95,
use.
right?
Wait. I cannot use my authenticator app right now. Click on that.
Okay.
Use a very
Which
okay.
option?
Any other option? Approve only. Okay, don't have any other more option. Click on that.
Your verification, your app is grayed out that you do not generate verification code from the.
Yes, that's correct.
On app itself,
So
how
if I
can it
use-
forget? I mean, grayed out.
So what happened, Vaibhav? I reset my entire phone, right?
ऐसा
So
बोलना यार.
earlier it was there, the domain was there,
So-
right, in Microsoft Authentic.
So before doing
that-
that, you should have removed your accounts, right?
Yeah, so that means he need to reinitiate the
What
ticket.
you have done? Can you tell?
He already reset his phone and without knowing
He
that
was
his
resetted the phone. With,
Oh, okay. Then how
I
it is?
reset
How
my
it will
phone.
work?
it will not
Oh,
work.
That will not work.
You like
You need
snap
to-
that. You are
But
just
if I again registered,
You should be able to go to security.microsoft.com and try to re-register.
Prakash, what are you doing, right? And Prakash,
but
what
again,
you're
if I
doing?
go to security, it asks me to put the 2-digit
See,
code in order to approve.
see what you're doing exactly. You already stabbed that Microsoft, right? And now you're saying the the blood is splattered everywhere. How you can clean it up? That won't work, right? So go
Yes.
to that link. Go to that MFA setup. You should have. I mean, should have removed those accounts first before resetting it, right?
This one?
Yep. Choose that. Yep.
Security info?
Security.
Security info. Yep. It is again coming on
Yes.
the same page. Okay. Can you go to the developer subscription with the different ID if you have? I mean, I know that this is the one that you have created, but you might have chosen some different email through sign.
Sorry, Vaibhav, you breaking up. Hello?
Can you hear
You,
me?
Prakash, do you have any other ID which you have
Did you
added
sign
to
up?
the tenant?
Did you sign up with the different email for your developer subscription? Of course, yes. Or you might have received
Yes.
an email as well for the subscription. Can you open that email? Maybe there must be something that you can directly log into developer subscription and have a
So,
new.
Vaibhav, I logged in through my, company,
Hmm,
what do you call, email address.
email address. Okay, okay.
So I cannot share it right now
No, understood.
because I don't have access.
This is tricky situation.
So from that email, as you have already sent an email to Microsoft,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
from which you have registered, so
yes.
they will
Using
reply
that-
definitely.
Yeah, you can use that email to send an an escalation or support to them. Mention that due to some reason my application just got vanished.
Vaibhav,
Yeah.
as I said, I already sent an email, copy my, this official email address.
Mm,
I put it in CC. So I'm requesting if anyone can, submit a request to Microsoft on behalf
But
of me. I can
no one
share
can
my.
submit a
on your
I can share
tenant,
my-
see on your tenant, you need to raise a report or any incident, right? Someone else, like if I do it, it will be considered for my tenant. They will not support your tenant on that.
No, just share. Understood, but just share my details so that they can reach out to me because I'm logged out. I cannot do anything. I sent an email. I tried to contact Microsoft via call.
Mm,
I don't think they will entertain it.
that's what I'm also thinking.
I don't think so.
Uh,
Or maybe like someone from your domain can send an email from the same domain. They can send probably. If you have any colleague, anyone.
So I've created a test account, right? This is not
That
an
is okay.
official.
That is okay. No, that is okay.
so you have other account.
But
I
guess
see
even
Adele
why
once.
your email should be blocked. Like if you're a corporate email, why that will be blocked by?
See,
They will not block your email.
Prakash, I see that you have created another account called Adele Vents, right? Are you able to log
Yes,
in with
yes.
that? Is she a
No, again,
global admin?
No, again it asked me to. No. Again no. She is no.
Hmm.
I'm the only one who can access, the global admin. If I try to log in via Adele, again it asks me to, provide
Okay,
two
so-
digit.
Okay, so this is an FYI, guys. Whenever I thought this is a common practice, you might be knowing it, but whenever I'm setting my developer account, I create two accounts. Okay, one the primary admin account and I create second account as a backup account in case if I get logged out, I can log into that account and I can do certain stuff. Now in your situation, you have only one account and you already messed up with your MFA, right? And you forgot your password. So that global account, admin account is the one account, one source of truth. Okay, using that we can unlock your account. And unfortunately, if you're trying to raise any Microsoft ticket or something, if you're trying to reach out them also, they will only entertain domain users who are particularly from your who assigned to your domain, not anyone from outside. I'm also looking at some other options. Maybe if I can help you here. Uh, so you don't have this user added also, right? Adele Wells also not part of your MFA, correct? And she's not, of
Yes.
course, she's not a global admin, so you won't be able to do anything. Otherwise, we would have gone to admin.microsoft.com. We would have reset your account password. Can you? I mean, I don't think it will work. Admin.microsoft.com as well. What to do? But from your corporate email address, see, if you have already set up this account, right? And if you're dropping an email from your corporate email address, it takes 24 hours, but certainly you'll receive a reply. Okay. Because it's a
Sure, I
it's
can
a
wait.
developer subscription,
there's
so
no
of course they will give you some precedence here. Why? Because you are testing their product, right? As an sandbox subscription, you are identifying how the Microsoft product or ecosystem works. So certainly they will entertain you, but it may take 24 hours to receive a reward. Once you receive it, tell that exactly this is what happened. Like give them exact what happened. You messed up with your MFA, so you had to remove it, and somehow when you reinstalling it, it is not accepting, and your password which you had already tried doesn't work. So that moment they will reset it from the background. And advisable is something, always keep 2 or 3 global admin accounts, just for your sake of such interruption when you are logged out, and you can restore yourself. All right,
Sure, Vaibhav, I don't have any options right now, so I can.
just wait for
You know,
24
wait.
hours. Don't
But I, but
Mm.
but Vaibhav, I'm surprised. I'm a global admin account, and by default, in global account, the MFA not been enforced, right? By default. But why it asking me to put 2-digit signing via Microsoft Authenticator? That's that's weird, right?
That's what I'm also thinking. And I think you did not set any, phone or number or something, right? You did not mention anywhere. So we don't have options to reset it or you using the phone number as well.
Yes.
That's the problem. I mean, usually in forget password, if you have a phone number, then they send the verification method on the phone as well, and then using that we can restore your account. But in your situation, it's completely locked out, no recovery.
Even I cannot share the screenshot. What Microsoft Authenticator right now it's look like. I mean, if I click to my domain, right, there's no option to remove that the particular account, right?
Wait, let me check mine.
And
Mm,
yes, there's an option called if you go to your
Wait, I'm checking.
account, there's an option called. Mhm.
You have tenant ID with you.
Yes. So there's a one-time password code, right, which is keep changing, right, in Microsoft Authenticator
Mm.
every 30 seconds, right? But in my domain, there's no option. I mean, I cannot
So
see
if you go to
that
your
option, right?
if you tap onto your account, right, in MFA,
Mhm.
correct?
Mhm.
Right inside on the top there is a gear icon. If you click
There's
on,
a setting icon, right?
that is what setting. Yep.
So if I click on that, there's only one option, account name. That's it. There's no option to remove this particular domain.
How come? I mean, for me, it's coming. I can remove
Yeah,
it.
because it's working for you, right? But it for me, it's not working, right? That's the only issue. Even if you go ahead and see, there's an option where one-time password code change every 30 second, right? Correct. But in my case, there's no such options there. It's a way to sign in or verify connected account. That's it. Other way to sign in, create passkey, set up password,
Of
sign
course,
in.
of course. Why? Because you did not remove it when you were resetting your phone, right? Now, since
Yes,
it's already
yes,
taking it from the memory, so uh,
yes.
it is as good like it's already there. You just need to give them a soul or just do the authentication to
Correct.
restore the
Correct.
services. And to do the authentication services restore, you need to enter the password, and that password is wrong, right? Or logged out. So let's wait for 24 hours. Maybe, I mean, I don't think there is any way of doing it, but from the developer subscription account email, the corporate one, if you drop an email or query to Microsoft, someone will certainly help you reaching you out and setting the new password or something like that. What Amit has shared here.
I shared a thread from the Microsoft forum. You can try that, Prakash. And it has some phone numbers as well. But what it says is that only Microsoft data protection team can enable that, and they need some verification before that. So we need to go through that process.
Sure. Thanks.
It takes good amount of time. They do cross verify multiple things, and then they will certainly enable, but they are slow, but they do it.
This is exactly what your situation is when
Yeah.
you are
So,
logged
Weber,
out of
why? So, Weber,
developer
why I'm
connect.
saying this to submit the request on behalf of me? If I remember right, one of my colleague had a same issue. I don't know. Someone raised a request from the different, domain or different tenant, and Microsoft reach out to him and resolve the issue. It's just that you need to provide the domain name along with the contact info. That's why I
But
asking you
Prakash,
to if
I have one question from you. See, Microsoft has not restricted your company domain. Like they can receive the email from your domain, your company domain account,
That's what.
and they can send to your account also. It's your basically the test tenant that you created. That account is locked, not your company's domain or domain account.
yeah,
They
you're
can
right.
still
Based on that,
communicate,
yes, I mean based on that they reach out to me, right? I mean
Yes.
they reach out to someone who
right?
get an issue, right?
So
They
they
should
should have
see
got the
that's
email. They should reach back to you on that email.
That's what I'm saying. What Amit is saying, I mean, absolutely right. When you are sending it from your corporate email address, because you are using their developer subscription to test their environment, right? So they will give you priority first. They will reach you out, and then they will reset it. If I raise it, I don't mind raising it, right? But this will be a different tenant altogether, and this will again delay more than yours. Why? Because I'm a third person who are using my tenant to open gates for your tenant, right? So they will first validate me, then they will validate you, which will delay in the process. But from your corporate email address, if you straight away reach out to Microsoft, the importance of your integrity and the priority of communication becomes more faster than me. That's what I'm trying to say. If you just, as Amit said, drop an email to them directly, they will reach you out on first priority, and then they will reset it.
Right, Weber, why I'm saying this, I mean, as I said, I already sent an email. Let's say if it take like more than 24 hours, at least they can reach out to you and you can provide an information, right, on behalf of me. That's why. That's the only, I mean,
Yeah, I
it's a
understand.
backup plan. It's
But
just a backup
since
plan. I already submitted a request.
I'm also not using a paid subscription, right? So for me, also the communication is as slow as yours.
Not you, Weber, anyone who can use this sandbox developer and, submit the request
So
as a backup
I mean, if
in
anyone,
case.
but I'm not sure whether they will provide the same account recovery. I can anticipate. I mean, I know as per my experience, if you drop an email, the priority goes first, and they will certainly act upon it. more faster than
Sure.
me or anyone else. So that's why I'm saying just wait for 24 hours. If it doesn't work, we are here to help you out. Okay. Anyone can raise on behalf of you. And then we can, Microsoft team will connect with you and they'll fix the problem. Okay. Maybe
Right.
just see 24 hours, maybe it automatically gets uplifted. You already, just see try the same password. If that works, well and good. But since you messed up with your MFA, I'm not sure how to regain it. But let me work out it. Let me see
So,
what
Vaibhav,
possible
how could I have
options.
messed up? Tell me, Vaibhav, how could I have messed up? Because as I told you, right, for a global admin, it do not enforce, to do a MFA on your global account, right, by default, unless and until go ahead and register yourself as a uh, MFA, right?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, that's what I'm. See, what happens exactly in the developer subscription, because it's been like 2 years I've been using it. So what it will do, it will enable a default this whatever in Entra, right, in M365 Entra, including. So it will give you a default set of settings, right? It will enable. So whenever you are either a global admin signing or you're doing a Microsoft, anyone who's doing it, signing in, it will prompt you to set a MFA every time whenever it's required, and wherever you are resetting your phone or anything, you may get logged out because of maybe if you have any conditional access policy or per user MFA if you have enabled. That way you might end it up, right? So with developer subscription, I've experienced it a lot. Like as a global administrator, they have some default, settings which are automatically there, and that way, I mean, I would suggest if you now right now we don't have option, but in admin center, if you go from properties, manage security defaults, there you get options, to what should you check, what should not, and accordingly you can verify these settings. So I'm not sure whether this is by default enabled for you as a global admin or any user per user, but we need to take a look on that.
Oh,
Okay.
I think
Thanks.
for global admins also now MFA is enforced.
That's what I'm
Oh,
saying. I think
It,
it's enforced for
it is not
everyone.
like
Right.
for global admin it is not there. I think it is enforced. Maybe you can check it. But
Correct.
thanks.
to my
I'm not
knowledge, it
aware
is
of it.
enforced. No, it is enforced actually. Since I
Okay.
think end of 2024, if I remember correctly. But you can just Google it and check it. My
Just do
understanding
it.
is it is already enforced.
And for
Since
me
long time.
also, like whenever I have been setting up my tenants, like I've set 3-4 tenants now till date, and I see everywhere whenever I'm setting my global admin, I've been forced to set up my MFA and then validate and vet that security model. So I cannot skip that. I never saw anywhere where I have a opportunity to skip my MFA and directly log into my account. Never.
Okay.
Okay, so let's wait for 24 hours. Let's if things works out, which is good. Otherwise, we are good to open a case with Microsoft.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay,
Bye bye.
thank you guys. Thanks for your time today. Take care.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.